Well, hello there, everybody. Glad you're here. It's another Monday and our live show, and thanks to everybody that tunes in when we do it live and also after the fact. If you're watching this after the fact and you're not subscribed to the channel, then I encourage you to do that. And while you're watching this live, you can hit the like button as we go along here. That would be great. So we're going to go through what's coming up on the channel generally. First of all, let's do that first. So tomorrow there's the Audi Q3 and Mercedes-Benz GLA comparison video. This is the second one Andrea and I have done. So if you've been following along, Andrea puts out an Instagram post on Sundays with a comparison of the two cars, and then we do a follow-up video, and it's going to air or run here and drop every Tuesday. So that's tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. So the Audi Q3 and the Mercedes-Benz GLA. Now, vehicles coming up. We've got a long list of stuff that's coming up. This Saturday, the Lexus NX will drop. That's a full video, full review. Then we're getting access to the Volvo XC40 Recharge, the full electric Volvo. That's going to be coming soon. Actually, this weekend, we're getting the Mazda CX-30 Turbo, the new turbo. We're getting that for the weekend, so that's going to be great. Also, we're getting our hands on a Subaru Forester, an Audi Q5. We're getting the new Elantra, which won the North American Car of the Year. That's coming up in a few weeks. The Sonata N-Line, the higher performance version, and more. So that's all happening. Don't forget to sign up to Car Cost Canada. There's going to be some new models coming out, and when new models come out, that's when you can get typically some good deals. For example, the NX, that Lexus I mentioned. There's going to be some discounts and things on the existing cars. The new one gets set to arrive. Okay, we got to get into some pictures. This first picture comes from, this is from Art Beetle, who just picked up his Venza. He got the top-of-the-line Venza. He was considering getting a top-of-the-line Toyota RAV4, but then the Venza came out, and he took it for a drive. He likes the more plush interior and luxurious ride. And I got to say, it's a great-looking vehicle. So thanks, Art, and congrats, and I do like it in white. Next is a video question. Let's go to Alex in Israel and see what's going on.
Day in January here in Israel, it's like 27, 26 degrees. Hey Zach, and welcome to the beautiful sunny day in January here in Israel. It's like 27, 26 degrees here on the beach, and we all go and swim. And my question is, did you drive the Toyota Supra? It's like the same as the BMW Z4. Did you feel if you drove?
That's Alex. I think he just sends these videos to show off that he's in Israel on the Mediterranean Sea, and it's 27 degrees Celsius, and he's got a short sleeve shirt on. Now, Alex, next time we want some bikinis, not you. So his question was, and thanks, he's always great. If you want to send either, first of all, a picture of your car in, you can do that, or send a video question in. It's zach@motormouth.ca. Zach@motormouth.ca. Oh, I forgot. My Bills lost, and Jack's here with the sports update. Come on in, Jack. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I want Brady to win because I don't want the Chiefs to win now that they beat the Bills. So I don't like the Patriots. I don't mind Brady. So if Brady wins another,
yeah, he
okay.
is the GOAT.
Yeah, it's fine if he wins another one.
And what's going on with the Canucks?
Horrible. not good.
All right, so there you have it. And how are the
trade to Foley and he scores 5 goals on you in 2 games?
I know. And what about the Raptors? How are they playing?
Pretty
good, actually.
Better than they started.
Yeah.
So they're improving.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Jack.
That's
good
that.
Update. Yeah, I don't know. I think Tom Brady for Tom Brady to. Why not? I mean, if you won all of these ones, you might as well win one more. What do we have here? We have this is the Parkside Brewery Dawn Pilsner, a local beer. All right. So quickly, before we get to the other questions, back to Alex showing off the sunny weather in Israel. The difference between the Z4 and the Supra. Well, one is a convertible and one is not. Initially, the Supra was not available with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, only with the 6-cylinder fantastic. And also the engines were different. So the older inline six-cylinder is what the Supra got, and now they've updated it to have the more powerful engine, the same one that's in the Z4. They do have a different characteristic, and they have been tuned differently. They're both fantastic vehicles. I think I like the looks of the BMW more, because I just like, if you're going to have a fun little car, why not have a convertible too? But thanks very much for getting the question in. We do have a super chat already, which I'm down for. Oh, all right. First beer's on me. Cheers from New York. Well, I will say cheers to that. We're having Pilsner tonight. Well, I have Pilsner pretty much every time. That is good. All right. Barrick is here, always first in line with the questions. Between the Toyota Corolla hatch and the Honda Civic hatch Sport Touring, both with the manuals, which is a better all-round hatch in your view? I will take the Civic. It's bigger. It's available with a sunroof. It's got more cargo space. It's got a more powerful engine. And the Civic is just a great car. Nothing wrong with the Corolla. I just think the Civic is better. We have a Civic, as regular viewers of the channel know. We bought it a few months ago, and I've been driving it the last couple of days. And it's a great car. It really is a great car. C Square. Could manufacturers partner up to develop manual transmission like Ford and GM did for the 10-speed automatic, thereby reducing costs? I don't think there's much into optimizing the manual transmission. I think that the manual transmission has been kind of perfected. I'm not sure where you would go with that. Like, what's the goal? To make it a 7-speed or an 8-speed? I mean, they do have a 7-speed in the Corvette, and the Porsche 911 has a 7-speed. So I'm not sure. But yeah, of course, car companies are partnering up. And that's why you're having these new partnerships like FCA merging with Peugeot to have a brand new company. And that's what's happening in the auto industry. Everybody's teaming up. I made it to the live show. Happy New Year. All the best in 2021. Raj, nice to see you, brother. You changed your profile picture. Looking pretty dapper there with your jacket. Hey, Zach, enjoy listening to your show every week. It's informative. Thank you for doing this. Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. The Queen's Half Corgi. Lots of regulars here today. That's good. Which car is Barrick Singh looking to buy this week? That's a good point. Barrick's always got a good question at the beginning. Hey, listen, I'm not going to discourage anybody from writing some good questions. Okay, so we have 130 people on board and 42 thumbs up. If you guys can give it a thumbs up, that would be great. Car Geek. Hey, Zach, I would like your opinion on the CT5V. How would you compare it to the Germans, and do you think it is a lease or buy? I think, all of these premium cars, I don't care if it's Audi, BMW, Mercedes, whatever, they really are great to lease. And that's where the market is on premium cars. In the Canadian market, leasing on high-end cars is around 80%. So most people lease. And I like leasing, especially of high-end cars, because I call it, the long-term test drive. You lease a car for 3 years. Hey, if it's been good to you, you like it, there's been no troubles, you really like the car, then you can just buy out the remainder and keep it if you want, or you can even release it again. So I call it the long-term test drive. How does it compare? I would suggest that the CT5V is a fantastic value in the performance arena. So what I want you to think about is, on price, this car competes with the higher end trims of the German competition, but its price isn't at the same. So I suggest anybody who hasn't driven the Cadillac CT5V, if you're really serious about getting a performance compact sedan, you have to give it a try. It's a really good car because of the enthusiast stuff. It's got a powerful engine, a twin turbo V6 engine. It's got a fantastic all-wheel drive system. It's got a magnificent suspension damping system, which is magnetic ride control, one of the best in the industry. It's got an electronic limited slip rear differential. It's got big Brembo brakes. It's all good stuff. And then the interior, I think, is really simple and well executed. So give it a shot. And yes, I think leasing for these kinds of cars is a way to go. Jason, hey, what are your thoughts on the next gen BRZ or BRZ? Yeah, it's going to have more power, a larger displacement engine. I have a call with one of the head of product planning for Subaru this week, I'm going to ask him more about it. So maybe next week we'll talk about it some more. Zach, would you sell your Cayenne if you could get a current X5 with diesel? No, I wouldn't. I think our Cayenne, the interesting thing is, and Andrea's come to this same realization, getting to drive all of the different cars that we get to drive. So we drive probably 80 different cars a year. And then when I was traveling, even more than that. And Andrea now, for almost a full year, has been getting in and out of different cars each and every week, sometimes 2 a week. And then getting back into our Cayenne, I just love it. Actually, the more I don't drive it, the more I love it. Because when I drive it, I'm like, this is a great product. And you just can't get it anymore. It's just so well made. Now, I do like the X5. That is absolutely true. And their inline 6-cylinder diesel was fantastic as well. But if it's a push between the two, here's the thing about our Cayenne diesel versus the new Cayenne generally. They made the new Cayenne softer. The suspension is softer. To me, it's more like an Audi, unless you get the higher suspension trims, where our older Cayenne has more substance to it on the road. You feel more in the cabin. And if you know Andrea, she likes to feel the road and likes a firm ride. Which would you choose as a daily driver, Mustang GT over Camaro LT2? If you watch this regularly, you know I'm Mustang GT all day long. Hey Zach, what are your thoughts on the Chevy Traverse? Thanks. The Traverse, I got no issues with it. These mid-size GM utilities, 3 rows, they actually are quite good, and the reliability is quite strong. So do some homework on them. I haven't driven one in a while. The last one I drove was the GMC Acadia, which is just a little bit smaller. So that's something to keep in mind. If you need the biggest, the Traverse is quite large. So 3 rows, 7 passengers, and quite a bit of cargo space. If you don't need it that big, and you like the idea of that, but you think it maybe just a little smaller, the Acadia, the GMC Acadia is the same basic platform. They just made it a little bit smaller. And that too is also used for the Cadillac XT6, which is another great product. A great driving vehicle. So I have no issue with the Chevy Traverse. I'm a huge fan of the Chevy Equinox. I talk about that all the time. People roast me and they say, how can you recommend a Chevy Equinox? I like, go and look for the quality scores on the Chevy Equinox. They're right at the very top of the industry, and people don't believe me. And then they look it up and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, people who have them like them. And the same thing with the Chevy Traverse. Hey Zach, have you seen the rendered next-gen Kia Sportage or Sportage? Seems to be very polarizing. I haven't seen it. There is, there's going to be a new Sportage or Sportage, because over in the Hyundai side, of course, they're going to have the new Tucson, and they share the same platform. So I haven't seen it. When you think of one-pedal driving, which EV does it best? It depends. Some it's interesting because some electric cars don't allow you to adjust the regen braking to modulate it that much. The one I kind of like is the General Motors little release you have on the steering wheel. You can brake, so you're not using your right foot, you're using your hand, but you can modulate it. See, like the Nissan Leaf, for example, the regen brake, you can set it, but you can't modulate it. So I like the ones you can modulate. So that is an example of one I think they do a good job. Thoughts on the Ford Flex? Ford Flex is absolutely, hands down, the best mid-size 3-row utility for interior space. I mean, it's just a big box, and they did a fantastic job. I would say the next best vehicle to it in terms of just overall just bigness is the Volkswagen Atlas. But the Flex was available with the 3.5-liter turbo V6, the same engine that's in the Ford F-150. I think the number on it was 365 horsepower. I remember we were in California for spring break, and I got one from Ford down there in LA. And we were going out to Disneyland. I hate Disneyland. And driving out to Anaheim and just on the highways down there. And that thing was an absolute rocket. So the Ford Flex never got the love because of the polarizing styling. But do you know that that is built on the old Volvo S80 platform? So that was when Volvo and Ford were together. They took the S80 platform and they made it into a lot of vehicles, but the Flex was one of them. A great platform, available engines were amazing, and yeah, it just didn't take off. Okay, we got to do a subscriber sip, says Tech Pro. So I take a sip and you subscribe. If you're new to this channel, that's the way that one works. And a wrist check. I am wearing my Omega 300M GMT. This is called the Great White. If you're into wristwatches, that's the Omega Great White. This watch is from around 2000. What are the big issues with the Panamera first gen? Well, there'd be the same sort of issues you're going to get with the Cayenne. So you could look for both because the engines were shared. Pretty much the driveline. I believe it was the V8 equipped models. Coolant hoses, coolant pipes would often break. High pressure, direct injection fuel line issues. And there's more. So if you really want to find out the issues with those particular cars, I would go to Renlist, which is the best Porsche web forum, and you can read all about all of the different issues with those cars. So the original ones were sold, the base model had the VR6 engine, same as the Cayenne, highly reliable, but not that inspiring for a sedan like that. My favorite of the first gen Panamera was the first GTS, and it had the V8 engine. Fabulous car. Wonderful, wonderful car. I don't understand what this... Zach, sorry to say, bro. Sorry to say what? Oh, I see. Sorry. I think you mean because the Bills lost. Yes, the Bills lost. One downside of having Andrea on, lots of creepy dudes. Yeah, there are some creepy dudes on the comments and also on Instagram comments, but I would say, you know, for the most part, people have been pretty good. And I think that a lot of people, including yourself, the Queen's half corgi, jump in there to defend Andrea if some people say some stupid things in the comment section. So that's actually quite nice. So on YouTube, I have the ability to remove comments. Now, some people will say just mean things about appearance or things like that. I just think that's just being disrespectful. I take them off. But that's not that often. Most of the time, I leave some of the comments on there because the idiot that leaves the initial comment seems to get roasted by you guys. So I think that it's quite healthy that the people that are making these stupid comments actually get called out on it by other men, because it's really men that are making these dumb comments. No, they're all men. Let's just call it what it is. Okay, I see what you're saying. But look at your Canucks and my Jets. Go Jets, go. Yeah. It's a short season, but we'll see where it ends. I thought the Canucks at the beginning of the season were going to do well. They got lots of firepower. Petey's not showing up. Those damn Calgary Flames look good. Brian Marks is here. Of the big three, Chrysler, Ford, GM, who is best to go fully electric and why? Why do you think will be most reliable of the three? Who do you think? Sorry. Well, it's already clear who is the front runner in this is General Motors. General Motors has announced, I think it's 25 or 35 vehicles in the next 4 years will be fully electrified. Now, Ford, of course, has the Mach-E, the Mustang Mach-E, the ill-named Mustang Mach-E, which just won North American SUV of the Year. Congratulations to them. I haven't driven it yet, but I can't wait to drive it. But General Motors is now on its second and third generations of its EVs. So we all know about who killed the electric car, the EV1, or the Impact, as it was called, a terribly named car. So that was sort of generation 1. You could even say it's generation 3 now. So then you had the original Volt, And then you had the original Bolt, and now we're on to the second generation of the Bolt is going to be coming out shortly, and then a whole bunch of things are going to be built off of that. General Motors has invested a huge amount of money in this technology, and they're a massive company. Oh, by the way, last week I mentioned Volkswagen had 40,000 engineers around the world. I misspoke. I think it's 400,000 employees and 25,000 engineers. And GM is kind of the same thing. General Motors has tens of thousands of engineers around the world, massive company, same like Toyota and like the Volkswagen Group, and they have a lot of engineering clout. And, you know, for those of you who crap all over General Motors, they can make some really good products if they try. And I think with these EVs, and you're seeing that with Ford, with the Mach-E, that if these companies really put their mind to it, they can produce some good cars. So I think who's going to be the most reliable? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Grant is saying the new 2021 Buick Envision looks nice. It does. Yes, they did a nice job on that. Hey, Zach, how close are we to seeing you eat avocado toast? Hey, that's a good point. Now, about 12 or 13,000 subscribers ago, we kind of joked in our videos that when the channel got to 150,000 subs, I would eat avocado toast. I think avocados, I don't know if anybody else is in the same camp as me, are disgusting. They just are green slime. It looks like snot. And the texture, I don't like the taste. And this, you know, for lack of a better term, millennial crowd has made avocado toast a thing. So I said, when we get to 150,000 subs, I will eat avocado toast. So it might actually be sooner than later. All right, we got some super chats here. Joel is here. Steel rims versus alloys for winter tire setup. They're both fine. I have both on our vehicles. On our Cayenne, we have alloys. On my Toyota Tacoma, I have steel wheels. I think it all comes down to your budget. If you can afford alloys and you like the look of them and you're willing to clean them once in a while in the winter, go for it. I like to, when I get winter tires, I go on like Craigslist or Kijiji or, you know, Facebook Marketplace, and I find the original equipment wheels, and then I put winter tires on them. So for my Tacoma, I have Toyota wheels, but they're just steel wheels. For our Cayenne, they're original equipment Cayenne wheels. So it's up to you and your budget. There's absolutely nothing wrong with steel wheels. And, you know, with the pitting and the salt and all that kind of stuff, it's definitely better for corrosion. Not for corrosion, for wear and tear. They're a lot cheaper. Another super chat here. Hey, Zach, what SUV for comfort and quiet ride would be the best? Saying the budget is $50,000. You might not like the answer to this, but it's back to my point just a moment ago. If you're wanting quiet and comfortable, you'd be hard-pressed to beat American brands when it comes to that, especially General Motors has very smooth and quiet SUVs, and Lincoln, the Corsair is a really beautiful vehicle on the inside. If that might not be your thing, though. So it really is subjective. You know, what's quiet to you, maybe not to me, and so on. Buick makes really quiet and smooth vehicles, and there certainly are several SUVs that are under $50,000. The Envision is one of them. So that's one place to start. I mentioned the Chevy Equinox. It's a very quiet vehicle, especially if you get the 2-liter turbocharged engine. So you really have to get out there and try them. I'm sure I can nail something down for you. If you had an idea, here's another thing you could do. You could get a Toyota Venza, and we just had Art buy one a moment ago. So the hybrid system and that whole setup, if you could get a Toyota Venza, which is really quite quiet and smooth, would be not a bad place to shop either. All right, got to get back to where we were. Where were we? We've got lots of people piling on here. I love it. Oh, here we go. I remember Josh. We were getting close to Josh here. Raj is back. What are all-terrain tires? They look meaty. However, do they work well in snow? Yes, you can have all-terrain tires that are actually really quite good in snow. So an all-terrain tire is a truck tire, basically. So you're going to use that for a vehicle like a pickup truck, or like a Jeep, for example, is a perfect example of a vehicle that would use an all-terrain tire. And some of them are snow rated, so you want the snowflake mountain symbol on the side of them. Yes, so they can substitute for a winter tire, and you can drive on them for the year round, but for the most part they are for trucks. Josh is here from Montreal. Yeah, the lockdown in Montreal continues. If you're not aware of this, if you don't live in Canada, in the province of Quebec, where Josh is, at 8 p.m. everything's shut down. You have to be home because of the COVID. They had a big outbreak in the last few months. So nice to see you here, Josh. Not out doing your thing. Okay, here we go. Great Escalade review. I've seen a few of them and just find they've gotten so big and tall, almost like the old Excursion. What are your thoughts on the ever-growing GM SUVs? They mitigate the size. I mean, it's amazing to drive. It really is amazing to drive. That big wide dash, that screen, makes the cabin feel smaller. We mentioned that in the review. It's square. You can see the corners, so it's not that hard to maneuver. It's got these amazing cameras and huge mirrors, and the thing turns turning radius that would put a lot of cars to shame. So after a day of driving it, it's not that big a deal. Somebody actually wrote in the review, I mean, why would somebody want such a big mammoth vehicle? I said, well, a Cadillac Escalade is the same size as a GMC pickup truck. It's based on the same platform. So people buy pickup trucks by the dozens every single day, by the hundreds of thousands yearly, and they have no problem maneuvering these things. It's really no different. And if you drive a big vehicle on a regular basis, it's no problem. Ken is here saying CX-30 Turbo. Really looking forward to that one. Yeah. So we get the car this weekend, but I think it's embargoed information until February 9th, which is 2 weeks to tomorrow, I believe. Or a week tomorrow? 2 weeks tomorrow. Anyway. Yeah, 2 weeks tomorrow. Can't decide between the SQ5 and the GLC 45. Your thoughts? Well, Akeef, this is a nice problem to have, brother. I think that, yeah, there's no wrong answer with those. I think what you need to do is you need to drive them again and see which one you prefer for all of the things that you interact with on a daily basis. How comfortable are the seats? How do you like the infotainment screen? All of the creature comfort stuff that will drive you crazy down the road. If you something you don't like about a car, you can't change it. So they're both powerful. They're both good looking and all of that. So there's no wrong answer about which one is right, but it's basically which one you like. Now, the SQ5, the Q5 got a minor update for 2021, and the GLC is kind of in its last year. So that may be something you want to consider, is that the GLC is going to be replaced probably next year when they come out, the new C-Class. They'll have the GLC based on that. So know it, get it, knowing that it's not going to be current for much longer than a year or so. At around $30,000 for 18 plus, what to choose? CX-9, QX60, Honda or Pilot, needs space, fun to drive, 3,500 pounds towing capacity for 10 years. QX60, no. That's got a continuously variable transmission. I would say Highlander. Not fun to drive, but it's going to do the job. That or the Pilot. The QX60, no. The CX-9, you know, turbocharged engine, if you're going to keep it for 10 years, you know, it's probably going to be fine, but I don't know. So it's between the Highlander and the Pilot. Yeah, it's between those two. Next time you talk to a Subaru executive, can you strongly suggest an STI Forester? Well, we've been talking to them about the fact they got rid of the XT The turbocharged Forester, which I think was a shame. The engine in the Ascent is fantastic, the 2.4 liter. So yeah, I think there's room in there, and maybe we're starting to see that. Last year, they brought the turbocharged 4-cylinder in the Forester, same as the Ascent. Then they updated the power on the Crosstrek, and hopefully on Forester they're going to do the same thing, but I'll ask. Chiefs have too much speed. Passing attack unstoppable. There you go. Well, that's your prediction. You think it's going to be the Chiefs. What about Stella Artois? Well, I've got 12 of them in the fridge in the basement here, but no, I got this local Pilsner. See, the interesting thing is if I have a Stella, people say, why don't you support local breweries? Then I get a local brewery and people say you should be drinking the Stella. Hey, Zach, any news on the new redesigned Qashqai will look like, and when will it be out? No, I don't know. The upcoming news from Nissan is Frontier pickup truck and also Pathfinder, and it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. The reveal will be. They're going to send me all of the information in advance, but I don't know anything about Qashqai. Based on a leaked timeline of new Subaru products, the Forester will have a Wilderness trim in the near future. Given the Crosstrek Outdoor has a better engine, Wilderness will likely will. That's what I think. I think we're starting to see this trend in Subaru. They're kind of getting it. If you give people what they want, more power, they will buy your products. Atul, nice to see you, brother. In Chicago, sent me a nice email today. Nice of you to be here as well. Is the new MDX a good replacement for the 14 MDX? Should I wait for the new Lexus line of SUVs, the next gen RX? I think that the new MDX is going to be a fantastic replacement for the 14. So it's an all-new platform. It's much stiffer, and they reinforced it and made it stiffer to make way for the S line, the higher performance turbo V6. The engine's carried over, but that's not a bad thing. 290 horsepower. It's going to do the job, and it's reliable, okay, right? They've also gone to the 10-speed automatic instead of the 9-speed. I think that's an improvement. I think the styling is very strong. The only downside for the MDX is, I think, the trackpad infotainment thing, but I still think it's better than the 2 screens you have in the 14. So I think overall, and the other thing about the MDX, I think they priced it right on the nose, man. This thing is really, really well priced, and that's why when the GV80 came out and they announced the pricing for it, I'm like, what? Like, the MDX is the best-selling luxury crossover vehicle, period. And there's a reason for it. They offer you a lot of product, and they don't charge you a fortune for it. And I think it's going to do very, very well. Nissan is a strange brand. Well, Nissan is quietly going about updating their cars and vehicles. And I think that I said this when I did the Sentra and the Rogue videos. They're fighting back, and they're a company to watch, because I think that they're going to surprise people with some of their new products. We'll have to wait and see. What I've seen so far I've been very impressed with it. Richard is here. Hi, Zach. Greetings from Alberta. Took your advice about the Cadillac and got a 17 XT5. Got the car last week, and I'm impressed and enjoying it. Thank you. Well, that's good. I'm glad you like it. It's interesting story. I was shooting a car in Shaughnessy. That's the neighborhood near where we live. All the big houses you see where Andrea and I drive the cars by, we don't live there. We just go there and interlope and do some videos in there. So I'm in there shooting a car, and this Cadillac XT5 pulls up, and it's a friend of ours, Paul Dumoulin and his wife, and we're talking. This is during the sort of summer, this past summer, and I said to him, how do you like your Cadillac XT5? He says, without missing a beat, he goes, it's the best vehicle we have ever owned. We absolutely love it. There you go. See what I mean? General Motors can do things right when they try. I'm a way out there outlier. Like, people, there's a lot of people that do what I do who just crap all over domestic car companies because it's easy to do. It's so easy to say, oh, GM cars are crap, and FCA cars are crap, and Ford makes crappy cars. It's easy to do that. That is the easy thing to do. The hard thing to do is to actually stand up and say, no, There are some excellent products out there from domestic car brands. We were talking earlier about a Mustang GT. Hell, give me a Mustang GT. I would love to have one. Okay, sorry, I got to get back to where I was. See, when I get a super chat, I got to go down to the bottom, then I got to go back up. All right, we have almost 300 people on board and 117 likes. That's good to see. I like it. So make sure that you hit the thumbs up button if you can. All right, where were we? Okay, Josh was here. We've done that one. Subaru executive. All right, TK Porsche. And the gent from Israel is maskless and probably been vaccinated. Great job, Israel, on COVID-19. That's true. The number one country in the world for vaccinations. There is a bit of a theory going around that the wealthy countries like the United States, Canada, country like Israel, obviously quite very wealthy, Great Britain, and first world economies are able to take so much vaccine from their suppliers, whether it's Pfizer or others, that the emerging countries can't get any. And if we're going to get rid of a worldwide pandemic, the richer countries, like where I live, Canada has 7 times, think about that, the population in vaccinations. So there's 37 million Canadians. We have 7 times the supply that's coming our way. Now, I would hope that countries like Canada and the United States, Great Britain, and Israel, when they've inoculated their population, are going to be sending this off to emerging countries, because that's how we're really going to eradicate this thing. But yeah, Israel has done a great job. Canada has done a crap job in getting the vaccine out. By the way, I got a note from my mother who lives in Scotland, in Edinburgh, this morning. And she got her first, she's in her 80s, she got her first inoculation yesterday. So that's good news. Raj is saying, I had a question about the 2021 Q3, but I'll wait to watch your video tomorrow. Interested in hearing your thoughts. That's right. So now on Tuesdays, we're going to be dropping the comparison video. So Andrea and I, we talk about it and we show all the pictures we did of each vehicle. What would you suggest? Land Rover Discovery Sport or Mercedes GLC? Mercedes GLC. Just a better product, if you ask me. The Honda Civic has a lot of wind and road noise. I have a 16 with a manual. Yeah, I don't notice it that much. I think it's a great car. Listen, your generation Honda Civic is like church quiet compared to the cars that were sold 10 years before that. Like the early 2000s Honda Civics were so noisy. And that generation is actually quiet in comparison. Should I buy the Lexus NX or wait for the redesign, which I guess would happen by 2022? Okay, so Dinesh, I'm going to give you a little snapshot into, I don't have the picture here. We do have the NX video dropping this coming Saturday, so stay tuned for that. We discussed this a little bit in the video, and I'll unbox it a bit now. So you have to decide, are you motivated by the best deal, or are you motivated by having the newest and the latest? If you're motivated by getting a good deal, and the great thing about the NX is if you buy it or you lease it, whatever, it'll run forever. You just look after it. I mean, as I always say in the videos, it will deliver the mail every day for years. So if you're motivated by the deal between now and when the new one comes, which will be probably this summer and fall, there's going to be deals. And that's where you go to Car Cost Canada. You become an expert member, sign up using the promo code MotorMouth, that's the name of the channel, and you become an expert member, and you can go every month and see what the rebates and incentives are on the NX, and then you can say to yourself, listen, they're giving no interest or 0% interest, they're giving a rebate on it and all that. You know, I kind of like that. I like getting the deal. Or you can wait until we see what the next NX is going to look like, and then you could decide then. So I had some intel from one of the followers here, sent me a message. Then the next NX is going to be made in Cambridge, Ontario, the Canadian manufacturing plant. It's the only factory outside of Japan that makes Lexus products. So the current RX is made there, and now the next gen NX is going to be made on the same line as the Toyota RAV4. So he told me that startup production is probably going to be May, June. So that means that it's not that far until we get a look at the new one. Okay, does that make sense? So maybe wait until we see what it looks like. Evan Katz is here. The Empire State loves you. Nice to see you, Evan. Nice. Thanks for being here every week. I appreciate that. Hope everything's well in New York State. Bruce, have pretty well settled on Telluride, but I'm wondering if I need to look at the Cadillac or Lincoln for midsize SUVs. Well, you could look at the, not the Corsair, yeah, you could look at the Corsair. But the thing is with the Cadillac doesn't really have a vehicle that lines up with Telluride in terms of size. Because the XT6, which if you go and watch the video Andrea and I did in the summertime, she was really taken with it because it just does a really good job at everything. It's not that crazy expensive, but it's not as big, right? Now, if you remember just a little while ago, I mentioned the GMC Acadia is smaller than the Traverse. And that's the same platform they use for the Cadillac XT6. So the XT6 is not going to be as big as Telluride. So if you're looking for just size, Telluride is going to be pretty hard to beat. If you don't need that size, try the XT6. And they've had some really good deals on them over the last little while. I say give it a try. It's a very nice product. They did a good job on it. And watch the video again that we did. Michael, if you could buy the cheapest SUV in Canada, which one you should buy? Thank you. The cheapest SUV in Canada, you'd probably be looking at, I would look at Mitsubishi. You could get a Mitsubishi RVR. They're not that expensive. You could get a Mitsubishi Outlander. They're not that expensive. And they come with a 10-year warranty. So if you're all about costs, keeping your costs down, you can buy the car and keep it for a long period of time knowing that it's under warranty. So Mitsubishi would probably be not a bad place to go and have a look. Their cars are quite simple. They're not that sophisticated, but they're not bad at all. I think they're pretty good products. All right, I want to go down. We got more super chats here. One that just says from CP17. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate the super chat. And another one. Oh, thoughts on the Ranger Raptor. Do you think Ford will bring it to North America? I'm not sure on that. I don't know. I would hope they would. I mean, because a Raptor outside of North America is the Ranger, and the one we have here is the F-150. You kind of wonder, if you think about it this way, they're bringing back the Bronco. And the Bronco is built on the Raptor platform, right? Sorry, the Bronco is built on the Ranger platform. Same 2.3-liter four-cylinder engine. And if you get into the fact that you have now the Jeep Wrangler with the high horsepower V8 engine available, I would suggest that probably they're going to look to bring in the drivetrain from that Ranger Raptor into the Bronco line, which opens the door for just bringing the Ranger. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. I don't have any insight into that, but that's kind of the logic. I can see them needing it for the Bronco, and then might as well bring it in. We'll have to see. Danny Bailey. Oh my God. Danny Bailey. Hey, Zach. What about Kenzie retiring? Holy moly. Yeah, so Danny Bailey, for those who don't know, and you wouldn't, colleague, longtime videographer for Motoring TV, and Danny lives in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, originally from Tilsonburg, and we're talking about Jim Kenzie, who's also on Motoring TV. Just came out with a column this week in the Toronto Star saying that he's retiring after almost 40 years. And Jim is he's just a fountain of knowledge. First of all, Jim Kenzie is an engineer by trade. He's been writing about cars. He's a hell of a driver, a super nice man, and sort of like kind of like the matriarch of our profession here in Canada. And he's got a long list of corny jokes. One of my favorites from Jim Kenzie. This guy's driving down the road, and he's in the middle of the country, and a cat runs in front of the car. Dum dum. He runs over the cat, and he gets out of the car. He looks at the cat, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't good." He sees the farmhouse, so he walks up to the farmhouse, knocks on the door. He says, Hello, what can I help you with? I think I just ran over your cat. And the guy says, what does the cat look like? Now that's a funny joke. That's a Kenzie joke. What does the cat look like? So Danny, nice to see you, brother. Hopefully you're holding up and doing well in KW. Yes. So by the way, Jim Kenzie is not retiring from motoring TV, just from the Toronto Star. Oh, why do you dislike Disneyland? How long do you have? I hate Disneyland. I despise it. I think it's just an awful place. Can't stand it. I could be here all night going on about it. Where was I? Okay. What should be the budget for 3 to 4 years of a low mileage Porsche Cayenne? Okay, Akif, if you're looking for the 3 to 4 year old low mileage Porsche Cayenne, you need to go to a value guide. I'm not sure where you live in Canada. You would go to Canadian Black Book and see what they're going for. There's such a widespread in pricing depending on which model you're getting. So a base Cayenne with the V6 engine, that's one thing. You get into GTS and turbos and Cayenne S's and all that, the prices can go up quite a lot. And mileage is a big factor for buying these used. So go to Canadian Black Book, for example, and look up. You can type in the mileage, the year, and all that kind of stuff. And also just go online and have a look at what's for sale, and you'll get an idea. So what should be the budget for a 3 to 4 year old low mileage Porsche Cayenne? If it's a base model V6, you'd be looking at the last gen model, probably. I would say you're going to be in the high 40s, probably, low 50s, around there. I sold my 19 TTRS. I need something a bit more practical. What are you getting? Will Honda bring back the Integra or Prelude? I heard a rumor about Integra. That's all I heard. It's just a rumor. Do you think that the Koreans will be taking over, that they could potentially end Toyota? No. Toyota is not going to roll over and just lie there and let the Koreans eat their lunch. No. Toyota is a mammoth company. It's arguably the largest car company in the world. They make 10 to 11 million vehicles a year with factories all over the world. No, Toyota is absolutely mammoth. The one thing, I mentioned this last week when you brought this up, Toyota makes so many different vehicles that you're not even aware of. Like, think about all the trucks that they make and things. Like, Hyundai and Kia are not in the same class as Toyota. They're making some great products. But no, Toyota isn't just going to sit there and take it. Yes, they're going to have to pull up their socks with some of their products, but I call it the Bank of Toyota for a reason. People feel safe putting their money in a Toyota because they know they're getting value and some resale value when they get rid of it. What model is your Cayenne? We have the last year of the diesel Cayenne. It's a 16. I find the GV70 profile window design at the back end overstyled. My problem with the Koreans in general, overstyled cars don't age well, which explains why they keep revising the design. Eric, you're absolutely right on this. You think about this for a second. The G70 has only been out for it'll be 4 years, I think, by the time the new one is coming next year. It's already totally different and quite heavily styled, if you haven't seen that. GV70 is based on that platform. Now, you see, look at the Hyundai Sonata, for example. The Hyundai Sonata, the new one that just came out, I don't like the looks of it at all. I don't think it's a good-looking car. I think they overstyled it, to your point. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen any on the road. The Sonata is such a home run car for them. Now, granted, mid-sized cars are not selling, but I think I've seen 1 or 2 on the road. I just don't see it myself. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Why does the new MDX show more third seat legroom versus what it practically shows? I don't know what that means. The wheelbase is being lengthened and the vehicle's longer overall. That's what I can tell you. I don't know your question. Hi, Zach. Would you recommend prepaid maintenance packages offered by dealerships? Are they worth the upfront investment? Love the show. Well, Pav, you gotta basically do a gut check here. Are you really going to keep the car for like 3 or 4 years? If the answer is yes, this is what you do. Before you buy the prepaid maintenance package, go to the service manager at the back of the dealer and say, how much are my services? So you'd have usually annual services. You might have other, like every few years, a major service and a minor service. It's all in the book at the back. And you ask them, if I kept this car for 4 years and I drive 60,000 kilometers in those 4 years, what maintenance would I need and how much would that cost? And they can tell you because they know roughly what it's going to cost. And then you find out from the business office, and if there's savings there and you're going to keep the car, why not? The only issue is that you're going to be rolling that cost into the payment of your car, which you're going to be paying interest on. So that's one of the things to think about. Now, you can also take your car somewhere other than the dealer to get maintenance done. So that's something to consider, and often for less money. So even though the service manager is going to say, oh, well, this service is $250, this one's $450, and blah, 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 and you add it all up, and then you go to the business office and it's like 30% of the cost or whatever it is. Sounds like a good deal. Not 30%, but 30% cheaper. That sounds like a good deal. You could probably get a better deal if you took it somewhere else. Just something to think about. But just peace of mind, not having to worry about it. It's all rolled into the price. I can see people attracted to that. Joseph Eyes, I'm really planning on getting the CX-9 because of the design. Any thoughts? I got no issue with this product at all. It drives really well. It's got to be one of the better handling SUVs. The power, considering it's got a turbo 4-cylinder, is really good. It's a beautiful looking utility. Fantastic on the inside. I'm with you. If you like it and you like the design, there's nothing wrong with it. Richard's back saying, really liked your vid on the 928. Saw one for the first time when stationed in Germany. What a fantastic build. Yeah, so there's the 928. That's one of the Survivor cars. The video dropped on Friday. So just a little update for the channel. I'm going to try and do one of these older cars every Friday. Tuesday is when the comparison videos are going to come out. And then Saturday, of course, is when we have our main video review. What do you think about the new Nissan 400Z or 400Z that is coming out? I like it. I think it's actually pretty good. Now, you got to remember, the one we've seen is the concept. How much is going to be changed between the concept and the production car? Probably not much. I think it's going to look like that. I don't mind it. I think it actually, a lot of people don't like the front end, the rectangular opening in the front. But I think it's good. I think they did a good job with it. It's the same platform though, right? Do you think pre-owned Porsche Macan is better than a GLC in terms of dollars in, dollars out? All I can tell you is that I believe that last I checked that the Macan has better resale value. So the dollars in, dollars out is, you're going to buy it for like a used one for 50, and then you're going to sell it a few years later or whatever it is. How much are you going to get back from it? That's the thing you want to know. And same thing again. You can go to CanadianBlackBook.com and you can look at forecasted future depreciation and see which one they believe, because that's their job, is forecasting the value of cars that they believe is going to hold up its value down the road. Derek says, hey Zach, greetings from the USA. Nice to have you here, Derek. Everybody's welcome. I'm just going to skip Andrew because he's had a lot of questions. What are your thoughts on the current 911 Safari builds? I'm not sure I know exactly what you mean. Are you talking about the Singer Porsche with the Dakar, that one? I'm not sure what you mean. Hey Zach, and also for sedans, I'm thinking of an S60 Mercedes C-Class 3 Series. What do you think is the best to buy? I think that the S60, there's some value in that car. I was driving one last week actually, and I hadn't driven it for a while, and yeah, I think it's actually a really nice car. It's bigger, and big change for the S60 is you used to have to get the T6 engine, 316 horsepower, in order to get all-wheel drive. For a lot of people, it was like 5,000 more to do that. They've actually now, for 2021, it's the T5 engine is available with all-wheel drive. So that's going to be opening it up to a more of a potential audience. So these are all great cars. The C-Class is in its last year now. There's going to be a new C-Class coming sometime this year. We're going to see it, and it's probably going to be here this fall. The 3 Series has only been out for a couple of years, so that's a fairly new car. Same thing with the S60, it's only been out for 2 years. So the only thing I'd say about the C-Class, there's probably going to be a better deal on a C-Class now because they are getting ready for the new one to come. But there you go. Joe, are you in Vancouver? Yes, I am in Vancouver. Brand new 4Runner or MDX? Well, these two things are like, one's an apple and one's an orange. They, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. What's that reference from? One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. 4Runner is a body-on-frame truck with 5 seats, and an MDX is a unibody crossover with 7 seats. So what do you need? With the likelihood of another full year of recovering from the pandemic, slumping sales in the industry, do you think some fledgling companies like Infiniti can last another year? Yes, they can last another year because the one thing that car companies are good at is discounting cars. So if they need to, they can always move iron. They just have to add more incentives. I think there's a master plan for Infiniti. We obviously don't know what it is yet, but there is a QX60 coming. That really is the cornerstone of their brand. That is their bestseller. They have to have it right. They better not put a CVT in it. They better put in an 8 or 9 or 10-speed automatic transmission. I heard a rumor that's the case. If that's the case, that's going to make a massive difference for that product. But bringing out a warmed-over CVT QX60 is not going to be good for Infiniti. Hopefully that's not the case. And the concept looks really good. So the way companies get into trouble is with product, and the way they get out of trouble is with product. And we're seeing some strong efforts from Nissan in the last 12 months, and hopefully we're going to see even more in the next 12 months from Nissan and from Infiniti. And that reference, by the way, is from Dennis DeRosier, who I always quote. Get into trouble with product, get out of trouble with product. Hi, Zach, it's done. I ordered oh my God, it's done. I ordered my Audi RS6 Avant black on black, coming in June. I am anxious to see what it looks like next to my red Honda S600. Holy crap. You've got an S600? 1966. Now that, my friend, is cool. So, I was walking the dog with Andrea. This is about 5 or 6 days ago. And we were talking about the RS6 Avant. And I said, that's a lotto car for me. Obviously not a lotto car for you because you just got it. But lotto car for me. If I could get an RS6 Avant and we're walking down the street and what's parked there? A black on black RS6 Avant. And they're like, that's the car. My God, what a gorgeous. The wheels. Beautiful. Well done, brother. Now, which one? An S600. Now, that is cool. Send pictures. Got to have pictures. And an E63S parked next to it would be pretty cool. Is Mazda poised to replace Honda as the 1B to Japan in the next decade? I don't know what that means. 1B to Toyota. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Hello from Syracuse, New York. Love the content. Thanks for being here. That's all I can say. It's horrible to troll Andrea. That's some low self-esteem issues. They're jelly because you work with your best friend. That is true. Hope you two continue to grow. She's an invaluable addition to the channel. Well, I absolutely agree with that. Andrea is the best. I used to say you're 1 in a million. Then I moved it up and I said you're 1 in a billion. Now that she's reviewing cars to me, she's 1 in 5 billion. You find another Andrea to do what she does. Host videos, look fantastic, be married to me. That's 1 in 5 billion right there. What are your thoughts on the FCA hybrid reliability? Nobody knows. I mean, like these it's a good question, but it's also like, how could I honestly answer that? Nobody knows. How are we going to know? We got to wait. Lucas is saying, Hey, Zach, my 17 Volvo S60 got a seatbelt recall in May. Volvo still got the parts in, so nerve-wracking. Volvo still get the parts in, so nerve-wracking. When my 13 Accord had to recall Honda parts right away. Why is that? I don't know. I would work with your service advisor. If you're really nervous about it, you could ask for a loaner and say, I don't want to drive it. My friend had an Acura TLX. He had a Takata recall. He's a lawyer too. And he said, I don't feel comfortable driving this car. So they gave him another car to drive. You could ask that. Great job as always, ANZ or ANZ. We are seeing very tight incentives with all of our supply chain issues. How do you think this will affect willingness to negotiate? Well, so what you're talking about there is that there is a worldwide chip shortage for all car manufacturers. So a lot of the car companies are streamlining the vehicles that they're introducing into the marketplace. For example, say there was a car and it was available with 5 different trims, right? The car companies are being forced to streamline down to 1 or 2 trims, probably the ones that sell the best, because they can't make all these variations. This part supply issue is affecting everybody. In fact, some factories are being idled for a week or 2 weeks. It's going to be an issue that's going to take a while to rectify. So, like I was picking up the Escalade, Super Cruise isn't available yet in Escalade. That's one of the hallmarks of the brand. But it's because they can't get certain chips for it. So I don't think it's going to help in the negotiating department. You're not going to have a lot of choice. You're basically going to take it or leave it when it comes to trims. That's what I think is going to happen as we go through the next few months. You're going to go to the dealer and you're going to say, well, what happened to this ABC trim? And they're going to go, we can't get it, right? Because if one part is missing for that car, they can't make it. So they're streamlining what they're doing. And that's what I think is going to happen. Let's see, I didn't miss any super chats while we were here. Let me just see where we're at. What time is it? Oh, it's already past 6. But we got a lot of people on board. That's nice that you're all here. So even though I don't get everybody on, of course, there's a lot of questions. I do read them all, and I appreciate it. And thank you to everybody that comes on board every single Monday. Don't forget, the Mercedes GLA and the Audi Q3 comparison video drops tomorrow. Watch it 5 times in a row, please. And thanks to everybody that's been here. Really do appreciate it. We'll see you next Monday right here. Take it easy, everybody. I'm going upstairs to eat chicken.